We've all been there as new or small channel creators, haven't we? Endlessly scrolling through YouTube, soaking up every single piece of advice that promises instant fame and riches. But you do need to be careful. Among those gems of wisdom are a minefield of terrible tips that no YouTuber should follow in their right mind. From the myth that posting every day builds momentum, to the famous cries of optimize your SEO. In this video, I'm going to expose the worst tips that simply send YouTubers down the wrong path. So if you are just getting started on YouTube and you want to avoid these big mistakes that are simply going to slow the growth of your channel, stick around because the truth's going to surprise you. And I think for this one, I need to sit down. Oh, this is much more comfortable. When learning any new skill or craft, advice is abundant. But the trick is finding out what uniquely works for you. And when it comes to YouTube, predominantly, you'll find two leading types of advice for growing your channel. One kind is all about YouTube best practices. And let's face it, all of this advice is quite similar, just told in a different way by a different educator. And after 1,700 videos, we are guilty of this ourselves.
But you just won't listen when we tell you.
As for the other kind, well, it's of the harsh variety. Your content sucks. Yeah, not exactly helpful or motivating, that is it? In this maze of advice, what's often missing are practical tips. And when you finally find something that looks to be useful, it turns out to be awful. Truly, truly awful. For example, one common tip is post every single day to grow your channel. But is that really the best way to go? Let's find out. A lot of new YouTubers feel like they need to pump out content on a daily basis. More videos mean more chances to be seen, right? And there is a very valid argument that a quantity of content can lead to that all-important experience and to skill up. But when you want to make videos that are better for your audience, quality content, then posting as frequently as humanly possible doesn't make as much sense. Let's look at it this way. Sure, daily posting can build momentum when you're making quick, short content. For example, you're making YouTube shorts, or you're making fast drawing tutorials, or comedy memes. In cases like these, posting frequently keeps your viewers interested on a regular, dare I say, daily basis. But the game does change when it comes to longer, more thoughtful and considered videos. Making high quality content every single day is tough, as you well know, and even the biggest creators do. And you can fall into the danger of it just becoming habit. Making a video every single day just for the sake of it, without even thinking about whether it's good or not for your viewers. Just because gaming channels smash out videos every single day doesn't mean that your travel channel should do the same. I mean, you can't go on holiday every single day, can you? And if you can, you've made it. Retire. Job done. So for just a moment, let's stop making videos and think about how we make those videos. For example, instead of making another video entirely from scratch, why don't you make some templates for all of your videos? This could be creating visual assets, creating a library of sound effects and music that you can use on a regular basis in your videos. Not only will it make it easier for you to make videos more quickly and efficiently, but it will also raise the general standard and consistency of your content. And since we're talking about templates, you might want to consider doing the same for your thumbnails. This can be fonts, color schemes, general layouts of thumbnails. It's even easier to see a lack of consistency in thumbnails since every single one looks like it's made from a completely different channel, yet it's from the same creator. If you make videos every single day, just miss one day and create a template video project that you can use for every day going forward. You can consider this a very short-term sacrifice, losing one video and the views you would get from that video, versus a very long-term gain. Templates can save you hours of time on this YouTube journey. Now, if you're already making daily videos and they are of a good quality for your audience, which is proven by the fact that your channel is growing, great, keep doing it. We definitely don't want to change what's working for you. But if you are finding it hard to keep up with the relentlessness of YouTube, try to remember it's a marathon, not a sprint, and we should know after 1,700 videos. And after 1,700 videos, we have had some small degree of success on YouTube. And so have many other creators with a lot more success than us. So is imitation the best form of epic YouTube winning? Now sure, Mr. Beast, the North Star, is a huge hit on YouTube and elsewhere. But remember, success doesn't look the same for absolutely everyone, especially when it comes to creative stuff. Just copying what he or your favorite creator does doesn't make you an instant star. Think about it. There are literally millions of other channels trying to do pretty much the same as what Mr. Beast does. So you've got to ask yourself, do you just want to be another fish in the Mr. Beast sea when there is such a huge fish consuming everything already? And perhaps more importantly, will that work for your fishermen, your audience? Does this metaphor make any sense? Here's something to chew on. If every single director copied the Barbie movie, would you enjoy a broad range of films? Probably not. That's why a film like Oppenheimer also exists. Different people like different films. And so the same should go for your YouTube strategy. Oh, and a hot take, I actually preferred Barbie a lot more than Christopher Nolan's latest Confusion Fest. Anyway, think about what channels you love watching. What draws you in? Is it their uniqueness or their cool content or both? Whatever answer is obvious to you, use that same philosophy for your channel. Simply put, make the kind of videos you would want to watch. Remember, YouTube is a huge place with all kinds of viewers, around about 2 billion at last count. Absolutely short, fast, exciting videos attract a big audience. But there's also longer educational videos that appeal to a more chilled, curious audience. For every Mr. Beast style channel, there is another one that, say, charts the history of the UK road system, which only you thought you were interested in until you saw this channel getting hundreds of thousands of views. As a creator, definitely over the long term, you need to stay true to yourself. If your content and your style that you present doesn't match your real, authentic vibe, over time, that's just going to wear you out. Then comes burnout, and finally, you'll just hate what you do. YouTube will start to feel like a job, and nobody ever ever wants to feel like that. In a sense, you want to try and maintain that new YouTuber level of enthusiasm for as long as possible. And I believe I've still got it after over a decade of content creation. And I want you to share in that same relentless energy for creativity, no matter how long you're on YouTube for. New YouTubers are often told to do a lot of research, to study successful channels and think about titles and thumbnails before they've even posted their very first video. But do you really need to do all of that research right away? If you think about it for a second, how can you research what will make your content successful if you don't even know what type of content you want to make? Starting off with a ton of analysis often leads to paralysis when you never actually get started, and it can erode your originality. The main thing, especially in my experience, is to get out there and break that YouTube fear. Get started. Make videos for the love and passion of sheer creativity. I think all creators, to some extent, need to go through a somewhat YouTube rite of passage to figure out whether they actually enjoy the process of making videos on YouTube, as opposed to the idea of making YouTube videos. Because the reality is quite different to the perception. So let's say you have a cool idea for a baking show where you teach with your kids, something that mixes learning and fun. Don't overthink it. Do it and see where it leads. The research can come later when you say to yourself, I love doing this YouTube thing. Now I need to learn how to find an audience. When you ask big successful creators what was their biggest regret, there is a common answer. I wish I would have started sooner. We recently ran a poll on the YouTube community tab asking people if they had started their YouTube channels. Incredibly, almost 20% of the vidIQ community, you know, that's people who want to grow their channels, haven't actually started their own channels. But when you read the comments of the other 80%, they have no regrets. They're loving every single minute of a YouTube journey. Now, don't get us wrong, research, ideas, titles, thumbnails, they're all really, really important. But in my humble opinion, they don't need to be the focus at the very start. Your content and you should be the star. And as you get to know your audience, you can start to tweak the titles and the thumbnails and perfect the packaging. You don't want goals, outcomes, and expectations getting in the way of the simple pleasure and sheer innocence of pressing record and having fun. Be patient with this concept of channel growth. There will be time, a lot of time in the future, if you enjoy this YouTube gig, to put time into research and buying better equipment and perfecting titles and thumbnails. At the beginning, just let your creativity, your passion, your enthusiasm guide you. What shouldn't be guiding you is stuff like SEO, search engine optimization. And should it ever these days? There is a long-held belief on the internet at large that if you want your content, whatever it is, to be discovered, you need to focus on SEO. But in this day and age, we need a new, fresh perspective. YouTube isn't a search engine for the majority of channels. What's usually a lot more important is to get casual viewers to click on your content and watch for longer. This using on their videos through the vidIQ tools. So these days, it reflects more what the creator was researching when it came to the keywords, rather than a strict intent to rank for those keywords on YouTube. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you should totally ignore SEO. Pitch your video to answer that question and SEO comes into play. And YouTube does say when they have very little information about your channel or your videos because nobody's discovered them yet, that including some keywords helps describe the content at a very basic level. That's why often smaller channels do get their first viral moments through a search-based piece of content. But for most channels, it shouldn't stay like that. You want to move into browse-based traffic as soon as you can. The main thing to remember is that while SEO can help get you started, it isn't the magic formula. The much fabled YouTube algorithm is far more interested in audience behavior than how well you have optimized the metadata on a certain video. If you hold really tightly and dearly onto this notion that SEO is more important than the video idea, the title, the thumbnail, the curiosity the packaging creates, then basically you're missing out on 70% of all potential YouTube views, because search traffic accounts for 30% of all YouTube views. You'll get stuck being a utility channel where somebody finds one of your videos, finds it really useful, but never comes back to anything else because you've basically answered their question. Instead, you need to connect at a human, more emotional level. Speak your audience's language, share their values, to make your channel a permanent, welcoming home to your community rather than a one-time destination for a customer. I don't know if this will come as a surprise to you, but only 15% of our long-form video views come from YouTube search. You would think that most people would discover vidIQ through searching for how to grow your channel, how to get more views, how to get more subscribers, how to monetize my YouTube channel. But that's simply not the case. We get a lot more of our views from browse and suggested because we've engineered it that way. Weirdly, most of our search traffic these days comes from YouTube Shorts. Go figure. But while we're on the subject of numbers and data, another thing that you shouldn't get too caught up, at least to begin with, is the analytics. They're a tool, not a guide. And as we've said, at first you should be mainly focusing on enjoying making videos, improving your skills, figuring out what works best for your audience. Now, when you start out on your YouTube journey, you might think that every single